What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikiPikaPapa, and it's that time of the month where we're going to be looking at the 10 Pokemon cards that have gained the most in value on TCG Player over the last month. And it is I don't know, this is always a really fun video series for me to do. I love seeing where the market is deciding to spend their money, because remember, when these prices move, it's because collectors and investors and people like you and me are deciding to spend their money on it. So we're the ones who drive prices here in this space. And when I get the chance to sit back and get information directly from TCG Player, and they lay it out plain as day and say, hey, listen, these are the 10 cards that have gone up the most in value, it really helps me paint a picture of what's going on, kind of in collector's mentality, right? And what's happening at the macro level of the market. So you're going to see some really cool stuff in this video. You're going to see some cards we've been talking about. You're going to see some themes we've been talking about. And it really is just chock full of awesome cards and some really cool information. So with that being said, they send a big Excel sheet, and we do a couple things with this. You know, we filter to make sure there's been at least 5 different sales of that card over the month. We don't want to make sure 1 or 2 sales drives it up or down. That's not what we're looking for. We make sure that all of these cards are in near mint condition. Like, we don't want to be looking at, you know, lightly played or damaged or anything like that. So near mint condition cards only. And then I filtered to make sure the starting price was at least $20. I mean, let's be honest, here on the channel, we kind of like the nicer things in life. So I always want to make sure that we look at some cards that started off with at least $20 in value. There's a lot of cards under $20 that have gained more over the last month. But again, I'm looking for cards kind of in the upper echelon. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to look at. And it is a ton of fun, and I can't wait to share it with you. But I will say this, we do it every month. And if you're getting into this and you're having fun, listen, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. As I said, we're always doing fun exercises like this, and if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into the top 10 cards that have gained the most in value over the last 30 days on TCG Player. Coming in at number 10. Now, the cool thing about this card is we featured this card's big brother on the most recent movers and shakers list, right? So there's 2 different alt arts here, or excuse me, 2 different Gengar and Mimikyu cards here in the team up space. There's a full art, which this is, and then there's the alternative art, which is going for about $550 right now. But the $550 one has had a great run, but this one has had a fantastic run as well. If you look over the last 3 months, it is up almost 50%, with most of those gains coming in the last couple weeks. Now you can see there's been an increase in buying volume over the last, I'd say, I don't know, 6 weeks, which will obviously have an effect on price, but this is coming from Team Up. We talk about it all the time. When I am looking for cards that are going to give me the best opportunity of long-term price appreciation, cards that I can enjoy the art and I can enjoy having in my collection, but also give me a great opportunity for big returns, I'm looking for sets like Team Up. I'm looking for characters like Mimikyu. I want big sets, I want big names, and I'm especially looking for characters like Gengar, because as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the biggest and the baddest out there right now. So to see all of that come together in a card like this to be featured on this video gets me all kinds of excited. So really cool, fun way to kick the video off, and you know Gengar is one of my favorite of all time, so couldn't help but kick off with this one. Next one on the list gets to some of the themes that I was talking about in the beginning that we have been seeing and been talking about specifically on this channel for a very, very long time, right? This is the Mega Gardevoir EX, and this one comes from Primal Clash, and we all know that as soon as Scarlet and Violet sunsets, we're going to move into a small series of Pokemon TCG cards that are going to focus on Mega Pokemon, and whenever we have a new mechanic, we look to the old mechanics, and all of the Mega cards that we see in the XY era are going through the roof. If you haven't seen the State of the Hobby video that I do, we look at the aggregate value of the top 20 singles cards from every single set with a booster box in the XY era. We graph how it's been moving over the last 18 months, and it has been on an absolute tear over the last 3 months. Like, those cards are getting incredibly hot, and I still think they have some room to run. So this will not be the last Mega card you see on the list, and actually it's not going to be the last Gardevoir you see on the list either. So a couple really cool and exciting things. This card was cruising around at about $26, $27. Then all of a sudden the market said, hey, listen, we got Mega Fever, and it popped up about 59%. It's going to be interesting to see if it can hold on. But as the second card on this list, it's really cool to see it up at $42. Next one right here, again, another card we have featured a ton over the last, I'd say, 6 or 8 months, and Prismatic Evolutions has brought Eevee and Eeveelution Fever. And it is a fever that I didn't think could run hotter, but ever since Prismatic Evolutions came out, the fury around these cards and these characters has just gone through the roof. Now, This is a Sun and Moon promo card, and I'll be honest with you, this card always kind of wigs me out a little bit. Whenever I look at Snorlax, I always think he's eating an Eevee, right? He's got those two kebabs that are sticking out of his mouth, and I give it a quick glance, and I always think of poor Eevee's getting devoured by Snorlax, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's a really cool card, really cool artwork, and obviously there are people who very much believe in this card and its long-term prospects, because if you look over the last month, this card is up almost 78%. You will see that this was cruising again in about the $60 range for the longest time, holding flat, and then boom, boom, pops right up, and it's been holding that $100 mark. So it'll be interesting to see, again, when we have these sets that are coming out that feature these Pokemon that are super popular, everybody starts to look to the past. I guarantee you, every single Team Rocket set from the beginning of time is going to see a lot of single card action here over the next 3 to 6 months. Mark my word, it's going to happen. We will see tons of Team Rocket cards featured in the videos up ahead. Now, the next one we're going to look at right here, another Mega, the Mega Gyarados from BREAKpoint. And this one, the thing that I like about this one, it's up 84%, but you don't see the big spikes, right? Over the last 3 months, this one has just been slowly and steady appreciating. And in some of the bigger names, and I think Gyarados is a bigger name Pokemon, I really do, you see that happen. You see it was a little bit more of an organic growth for some of the other ones where we see those big price spikes. But still, organic or not, spike or not, it is still up almost 85%, coming in at $75 over the last 3 months. 3 months ago, you could have picked this bad boy up for $40 on the nose. So it's been incredible to watch some of these cards climb like this. And again, I've said this before, I will continue to say it. I still think the XY era has a lot of room to run. Now, next one right here, again, from Team Up, biggest and baddest set from the Sun and Moon era, right? And then you got Eevee, which is going nuts. This card was actually featured on our Movers and Shakers video on Sunday because a lot of the price gain of this 136% jump it has seen has come over the last couple weeks. You can see that there's a big spike in purchasing volume, right? Those light blue bars represent purchasing volume at TCG Player. The bright blue line represents how the price moves over time. So you can see that recently there was somebody who, or some group of people who went and bought 10 of them in the price spike. Now, will it be able to hold on? Who knows? But if I had to put my money on this card at $106 over the promo, which featured Eevee and Snorlax at $100 and something, my money's on this card simply because it comes from the Team Up set. And I think Team Up obviously is just this mysteriously awesome, amazing set that everybody idolizes from Sun and Moon. And you know I love big name Pokemon from sets like that. So really interesting to see how this card goes over the next 3 months. Will it be able to hold on to the $100 price point, or is it going to start to come back down? Now, next card on the list right here, another one, the Mega Lucario EX. Now, this is an alt art promo, and the artwork on this is really cool. Some of the Megas are a little busy for me, and this one is as well. But the thing I like about it is the way the yellow and the red really contrast with each other. So if you see this card in person, I promise you it's a freaking stunner. And another card where, listen, over the last 3 months, it is up 192%. It has it's almost up 200% over the last 3 months, which is just crazy to think about. And again, the crazy thing is we've been talking about the XY and these mega cards for quite a while here on the channel. And again, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, what a wonderful world it would be. We all wish we could go back in time, but I still think a lot of these cards still have some room to run. So coming in at sub $65, right there near it, up 192% over the last 3 months. Super cool card, awesome artwork, and we've already seen some early renditions of the Lucario in the Mega Series, so I think that's going to keep this one super hot for at least the foreseeable future. Next one on the list, we talked about Mimikyu in the beginning and how I'm a huge fan, but this card, as far as I'm concerned, was a product of a little bit of a pump and dump, okay? So this one, we see the big blue bar right there. It went up to almost 70 purchased over the course of a week. We see the price spike. We see it's been working its way back down. Listen, math is black and white. It doesn't understand what happened. All it knows is where the price started at and where the price is today. This one is up 207% over the last 3 months. This thing started in the $17 range. It is all the way up at $55.84. I am incredibly bullish on Brilliant Stars. I still, to this day, think that Brilliant Stars is undervalued. When you think about how awesome the cards are, you got Trainer Gallery cards like this, you got the Charizard alt art in there, you got Arceus in there, you've got Umbreon in there, right? Like, you've got all of these big name Pokemon in Brilliant Stars, and yet it still lags sets like Chilling Reign in terms of booster box. Now, we'll have to see what happens in the long run, but the Mimikyu, as much as I love Brilliant Stars and as much as I love Mimikyu, I do think this card is going to come back down to earth in the relative future. Not that it can't be much higher than the $17 it started at, but I don't know if I'm dropping 50 bucks on this card anytime soon. Next one. Gardevoir, again, the Mega Gardevoir. Now, again, we have seen so many different Radiant Collection cards pop up really over the last 6 months. It's been fascinating. The Radiant Collection has been getting incredibly hot, and it's been kind of this subtle heat up. It hasn't been these big price spikes. Heck, even in this card right here, if you look at the 3-month price graph, that is a slow and steady gain. Gets a little more aggressive over the last month, but it really has been this slow organic growth. So do yourself a favor, check out some of these Radiant Collection cards, right? The Reshiram is another one that we've been featuring a lot recently because we knew the Reshiram promo was coming out in the Journey Together stamped version from those enhanced booster boxes. Plus, we have a black and white set that's coming out. I promise you, we're going to see black and white cards start to pop off. Matter of fact, that reminds me, I need to do a video on that because we're going to see people go after those cards because of the new set. So anyways, that's a whole lot to say. Radiant Collection cards have been doing really, really well. This one is up 223%, sitting at $112. Just insane to think about how much this card has grown over the last 3 months. So next one on the list, this is another one that was featured on a Movers and Shakers video series here relatively soon, the Mega Houndoom from Breakthrough, and this is another one where it might be caught up in the hype a little bit, but again, you know, we shall see. There's obviously some very cool versions of this in the Scarlet and Violet era, so maybe it's keeping it top of mind for people. Scarlet and Violet is obviously a very, very hotly anticipated, not hotly anticipated, it's already here, but a very, very popular era. So I think any of the cards in there, and then you have the Mega set that's coming out in the future, you got this card from the past, so it's just going to be interesting to see if this one's able to hold on to its gains. But it's up 224% over the last 3 months, and this is one of the ones where you see a little bit of that more aggressive spike to the far right. So interesting card, you know, not my favorite, not one I'm pulling the trigger on, but hey, listen, I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there who are picking this up, and just because I'm not a fan doesn't mean it won't perform well in the long run. The final card on the list, again, Lucario, right? Lucario is getting all kinds of love right here. Again, another Sun and Moon promo right here. You got Lucario and Melmetal, and this card is up 285% over the last 3 months, up almost 3% or 300% over the last 3 months, which is really, really crazy to think about. And if you look at the sales volume there, you see those light blue bar graphs we always talk about. Nothing too crazy. A little bit of a spike, you know, back in January, but nothing too crazy. And then the price has just kind of organically been going up, and I think it's because the jumping off point was so low. This was a $12 card 3 months ago. Now it's all the way up at $51.36. So I think this card, you know, it'll be interesting to see if it's able to hold on to it or if the market is in just a little bit of Lucario fever right now, which I think is playing a big part in this. So we have lots of fun stuff coming up on this channel to talk about. I'm going to look at some black and white stuff. We're going to continue to look at the XY era. I'm going to look at some Team Rocket stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunity. You have seen throughout the course of this video, and you've seen through other things we've talked about, how all of these kind of move in lockstep with each other. So my commitment to you is to do a ton of research and hopefully give us the opportunity to play ahead of the game a little bit. So with that being said, if you made it to the end, if you had a ton of fun, hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. But most importantly, I hope you have an epic rest of your day. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. See you later, everybody. Bye.